You've been there, right? Staring at a sentence, totally confused why it's I want to go, but I avoid going? It feels like one of those things in English where you just have to memorize a giant random list of rules. But what if I told you it isn't random at all? What if there's a hidden logic to it?
Okay, let's start with something really simple, a phrase we all use. I am glad to know you. Sounds totally normal. But have you ever actually stopped and thought, why to know? Why don't we say, I am glad knowing you? The answer is way cooler than you might think, and trust me, it unlocks a huge secret about how English grammar actually works.
You know, most grammar books would just give you a rule, something like use the infinitive after the adjective glad. And that's it. But that's not an explanation, is it? It's just an order to memorize something. Well, today, we're not doing that. Today, we're going to be grammar detectives. We're going to uncover the hidden logic that makes it all make sense.
So our investigation starts by putting the infinitive itself right under the magnifying glass. What is this thing really doing in our sentences? Let's check out the first clue.
Okay, so let's break down that sentence. I am glad to know you. What we have here is actually a super efficient, compressed version of a much longer idea. The full thought is really something like, I am glad because I'm able to know you. Or, to make it even simpler, I am glad because I can know you. You see? That little phrase, to know, is actually clever shorthand for that whole because I can know part. It's not just a verb form, it's a whole idea in disguise.
And this, right here, is the secret key to the whole mystery. An infinitive, that to plus a verb, isn't some random grammar piece. It is a stand-in. It's a compact substitute for a modal verb phrase. You know, words like can, will, must, or may. Once you see this connection, I promise you, everything else is going to click right into place.
But look, any good detective needs proof, right? If this theory is true, that infinitives are just modal verbs wearing a disguise, then they should act alike. They should share some key features. So let's look at the evidence.
All right, evidence number one. Check the left side with the modal verb I will go. You can't say I will goes or I will went, right? It has to be the simple base form of the verb, go. Now look at the right with the infinitive I want to go. Hey, it's the exact same rule. You have to use the base form. That right there is our first piece of matching DNA.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Think about the mood here. If I say, he is right, that's a fact. It's confirmed. But look at the left. He may be right. That's not a fact anymore. It's uncertain. It's a possibility. And on the right, he seems to be right. Again, not a confirmed reality, just a perception, an uncertainty. Both of these structures are used for things that aren't solid facts. This is a huge clue. So how do these things handle the past? Well, you can't say must rained or to rained. That just sounds wrong. Instead, they use the exact same clever trick. For the modal verb, you say must have rained. And for the infinitive, seems to have rained. They both use the exact same tool, have plus the past form of the verb, to talk about something that already happened. It's another identical piece of their structural DNA.
Okay, so far we've seen they share structure, they share mood, they even share the same rules for talking about the past. But this final piece of evidence, this one is the smoking gun. It's the most direct link you could ask for.
And here it is. Just look at this table. The connection is undeniable. For pretty much every major modal verb, there's a common phrase that uses an infinitive to say the exact same thing. Must becomes have to. Should is ought to, will turns into be going to, and can is just be able to. They're practically interchangeable. The case is getting pretty solid, don't you think?
Okay, so armed with our new theory that infinitives are secretly carrying the meaning of a future or uncertain action, we can finally go back and solve some of those classic grammar puzzles that trip everybody up. It's time to put this theory to the test. So here it is, our new logical rule. You can forget about memorizing long lists of verbs. Just ask yourself one simple question. Does this sentence point to an action that's uncertain, potential, or happening in the future? If the answer is yes, then there's a hidden modal verb in there and you need to use an infinitive.
Let's test it. Case number 1. They plan to marry next month. So why is it to marry and not marrying?
Well, it's simple, right? A plan, by its very nature, is about the future. The wedding hasn't happened yet. So, to marry is just a quick way of saying what they plan to do, that they will marry. That hidden will is the reason we need the infinitive. Case closed.
All right, let's try a different one. I avoid making the same mistake. Now here, we've got the ing form, the gerund. So why doesn't our rule work here? Or does it?
Let's try to force an infinitive in there and just see what happens. I avoid to make the same mistake. Remember our rule. To make contains the hidden idea of will make. So the sentence becomes, I avoid the fact that I will make the mistake. That's crazy. It makes no sense. It's a complete logical contradiction. You can't avoid something that you are definitely going to do. The infinitive just logically clashes with the verb avoid, so we have to use the gerund instead.
Now, the verb remember is the perfect place to test this theory because it can go both ways. Look at these two sentences. On the left, we've got a task for the future. On the right, we've got a memory of the past. The only difference is to give versus calling.
And here's why it works perfectly. Remember to give really means remember that you must give or you should give that wake-up call. It's a future job and it's full of that modal energy. But remember calling? That refers to a past event. It's a fact. It already happened. There's no will or must about it. It's a done deal. So we use the factual gerund, not the potential infinitive. It's all about logic. So our logic seems totally solid. But what about those weird verbs? You know, make, let, see, hear. The ones where the to just disappears? Is our entire theory about to fall apart? Not at all. In fact, this is the final piece of the puzzle.
Check out this comparison. This is so cool. On the left, the teacher asked her to stay. It's a request. We don't know if she'll actually stay. It's uncertain. So there's that hidden potential. And we need the infinitive, to stay. But on the right, the teacher made her stay. There is zero uncertainty here. It's a command. It is a certainty. She has no choice. And because that uncertainty is gone, the hidden will or should is also gone. And when the modal verb disappears, the to goes right along with it. And this same logic works for verbs like see and hear. Think about it. You don't see someone to do something in the future. You see them do it right now, as a fact. You hear them sing, not to sing. The action is a certainty you're directly perceiving, so there's no need for that little to marker of uncertainty. So there you have it. By seeing the infinitive not as some random rule, but as a clever stand-in for a modal verb, we've suddenly got a whole new mindset. A way to understand the deep, logical structure of English sentences. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that grammar isn't just a dusty collection of dead rules you have to memorize. It's a living system of logic, filled with these elegant, hidden connections. Knowing that to do is really just a compact way of saying will do or can do, that doesn't just solve one little grammar problem. It gives you a powerful tool to decode the entire language. So, I'll leave you with this. How will this little discovery change the way you see English from now on?